What's good? Welcome back to the Pop Off Podcast, a conversation show about the biggest night in movies, the 96th Academy Awards. The Oscars were tonight, and they're on ABC. Really good telecast, I thought. I'm your host, Ralph Compiano, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mike Cerroni, and by our favorite feature on the Pop Off Podcast Network, Bordy B. Bordy, we sat down, we watched this event tonight. A little less than 3.5 hours. Usually the show is north of 3.5 hours, so I thought the timing and the pacing was really good. Did you enjoy this? Did you have fun watching the Oscars tonight as a 24-year-old male in America?
Yeah, I thought it started a little early. I left work. I start to shower, and I'm like, oh, fuck, the Oscars are already on. So I obviously don't shower. I've just been wallowing in my filth since work. But yeah, the Oscars were a good watch. It wasn't as entertaining as the Grammys, because the Grammys, you got like constant music. And I'm obviously not much of a film guy. But I like how, like you said, it was a well-produced event. Like, I like how they showed the movies like on the big screen, kind of split up. It was artsy, and it's kind of it's the movie guys. That's what they're known for.
Loves an artsy.
Yeah, that's the event.
An artsy award show, don't you?
Well, that's kind of what like the pretentious ass Oscars people like to see. It's kind of all about like sound, picture,
Gotta be bougie.
production.
Yeah,
it's the movie side of things. Gives you a little behind the scenes of how many people are actually involved in this shit.
Yes, I think that it's been more pretentious in previous years. This is probably the most commercial that the Oscars have been in a long time, just because they did have the Barbenheimer thing going for it. A lot of people knew going into this that Oppenheimer, which was, a $1 billion movie last year, it was going to win a lot of awards. So people were like excited about that. And then Barbie didn't win any awards tonight, except for, I guess, technically one for Billie Eilish and Phineas. They won original song for What Was I Made For. But Greta didn't get nominated for director. Margot wasn't nominated for best actress, and so they didn't win screenplay, which they were nominated for. America Ferrera didn't win for best supporting actress.
How does Margot not even get a nomination for that? Like,
I
she
don't
literally
know. And
played a fucking plastic doll.
And when you look at the best actress category, it's like you're telling me there wasn't room for Margot Robbie here when you have, I love Sandra Hüller. I thought she was great in Anatomy of a Fall, very deserving. Lily Gladstone, obviously deserving. Carey Mulligan, totally deserving. But Annette Bening is just a person that we did not need to be nominated in this category. Nyad was maybe one of the more boring movies that I watched. So it's just like, it's Margot Robbie. And you already had her superstardom because she was going to be there, but she wasn't involved in the show at all. On the contrary, Ryan Gosling was very involved in the show, and that's a huge plus for the Oscars. That's one of the best celebrities that we have going right now. Like, he is just a ball of charisma. He's so fun. He performs on Just Ken. And
absolutely clears Gyllenhaal.
Yes, 100%. Like, I at this point in time, I think that he's...
I thought they were the same person, and now I know. Like, fucking Gosling
totally different.
Clears Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
I love Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, he was brilliant tonight. I'm Just Ken was just like one of the highlights of the night. But I want to start with Oppenheimer first and foremost because it won 7 awards. All right, so it won in big categories too. Best Picture, obviously. And we can talk about the delivery of Al Pacino announcing Oppenheimer's Best Picture because it was pretty anticlimactic. Christopher Nolan won for Best Director. Cillian Murphy won for Best Actor. We'll talk about that too. Robert Downey Jr. finally wins for Best Supporting Actor. And then it won Best Score. So it was Ludwig van Göransson. Best Editing and Best Cinematography for Hoyte van Hoytema. So, 7 big categories: editing, cinematography, score, and then the 4 like kind of bigger ones for the males. That was huge. We said it on the pre-show call. The last time that a movie really dominated an award show like this was Parasite in 2019. And I think that it's totally deserving of it. I think that Oppenheimer was the best movie last year. So it was just kind of cool to see it get that recognition. Like, this is a subjective sport. We don't have an NBA Finals for this. There's no Super Bowl. This is what it is. And it's all of your peers in the Academy. And they finally accepted the fact that, Christopher Nolan, for I think a lot of people our age absolutely adore him and love him. But I think he's been pretty shut off by a lot of these Academy members who are a little bit more pretentious because they were like, okay, you like to play with science fiction toys and make things sound cool and whooshy, but have you really made anything meaningful? And then he makes Oppenheimer, which I think is probably his most meaningful film. And he's like, yeah, motherfucker. And the beautiful thing about it was for Best Director, Steven Spielberg was the one who announced the award. Obviously, like the face of Hollywood for the last 50 years, him and Scorsese, and especially from a blockbuster standpoint, it's been Spielberg, and he literally passed the torch to Nolan. So just a really, really cool moment there.
And like you said, it is subjective. Not one of my favorite movies. Just not really my style. I prefer like Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, it was just like a lot of cuts. Couldn't keep up with it. It couldn't get to know the characters. Like,
interesting.
I kind of scoffed at Downey Jr. when I know he was the favorite, but I swear he had like 25 minutes of screen time in that. Like they had literally 100 people in it, and everybody just had like one scene. I'm like, what is going on here?
I would have thought that it's funny you say that, Bordy, because I was like, yeah, Matt Damon was almost more of a
in the next scene. Thought you were gonna pop up in the next scene. Like, who's next?
I'd kill for that. But yeah, I thought Matt Damon was actually gonna be
agreed.
I thought Matt Damon was a better supporting actor than
totally agree.
I mean, Downey Jr. Yeah, he didn't have as much in screen time in the movie. I feel like his character though was way harder to play and grasp, to where Matt Damon was in there pretty much the whole time, but it's a little bit easier of a character to play, because like Downey's character is just like there's a lot of regret and this like internal battle and jealous, like just kind of crazier, but
envy,
yeah, ton of envy. Yeah, I don't know. I thought, because Matt Damon wasn't even up there for supporting, was he?
Wasn't nominated. And the interesting thing is
that
that
stinks.
The difference between those two performances, or really the roles in the movie, is that Damon is always playing off of Cillian. You rarely see Damon without Cillian. I don't know if you ever do see Damon without Cillian.
Yeah, probably
but
never.
You never, the ones with Robert Downey Jr., he's leading those scenes. Like, he's the movie star in a lot of those scenes, if it's like with Eichenberg or whoever it might be.
Right.
So I thought he was deserving of it. I think this could be like, there's the term, the legacy Oscar. Like, he'd been nominated previously, and sometimes they give an Oscar to somebody who, like Renee Zellweger won a couple of years ago for her portrayal of Judy Garland in a biopic, and like nobody was like, that was the best performance by a female that year. But I'm not sure. Like, I mean, you look at the other nominations here. You have Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, who did not look like he wanted to be there tonight at all. Every time the camera cut to him, he was like, "Let's wrap this bullshit up. Why am I here?"
Been there so many times. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same old song and dance for him, I feel like. And dude, Martin Scorsese, man, isn't he just the cutest little old man?
Cutest old man.
I don't know why. Like, dude, he just always has this little twinkle in his eye, and he's kind of smiling, and like, that's like the definition of like this cute little grandpa, an absolute wizard, an absolute genius. But like, yeah, dude, he cracks me up.
0 wins for Killers of the Flower Moon.
We'll talk about that. And yeah. He just loves movies so much. So this is like one of his favorite nights of the year. You know it. Like, he doesn't care about the politicking as much anymore. He's won Best Director before. He's won Best Picture before. It's not that big of a deal to him at this point in his career. Right now, he's just an advocate for movies. The other nominees were Ryan Gosling in Barbie, who I thought was the best performer in that movie. Him and Margot, neck and neck. I thought he was brilliant in it. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things, which we'll definitely talk about. He was fucking awesome in that movie. A total departure from a lot of other things that he's done. And then Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction, which I just watched this past weekend. Really good in that. Like, Sterling K. Brown is never bad in anything.
He killed it.
No.
RDJ walks away with it. And, I think that this is like a really interesting moment, especially for movies, because, and not just like movies as a whole, right? This is a guy who played Iron Man almost exclusively for about 14 years of his career. He is I think that, there was rumors like Tom Cruise might have been Iron Man. That was like an original casting. What if was that he was like supposed to play him, and then RDJ got that role. And he kind of brings the comedic element to all of the Marvel movies. And he really kicks off, 14 to 15 years of just Marvel dominance in blockbusters. And you can credit him for that, but you can also blame him for that, because it kind of changed the trajectory of where movies were going as far as like how big budgets were being used. Cord Jefferson, who won Best Adapted Screenplay for American Fiction tonight, said, if you're a studio, you should learn a lesson from this, that if you have $200 million in your budget this year, don't blow it on one movie and CGI effects. Instead, make, $10-20 million movies. And I just thought that was brilliant. So RDJ, he's going from that world where I don't think he feels guilty because he made all that fucking money. You know, it bought him a house in Brazil and France and wherever the fuck he wanted.
He must have made fucking hand over fist.
Unbelievable amount of money,
Yeah.
right? But now he's transitioning into this latter part of his career where he's working with Christopher Nolan. He's going to be in a HBO series, which we're going to talk about on here this year, that I'm very excited about. It's kind of like a Master of Disguise detective series with Park Chan-wook, who's a very interesting Korean director, but it's going to be in English on HBO Max. He's going to be awesome in that. So I think this is we can point to tonight as like the night that Hollywood got like their movies back, our movies, not Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, but Oppenheimer and Barbie, like these big budget movies that actually mean something rather than CGI bullshit that makes me want to fucking throw up and walk out of the theater.
Well, I think the Marvel shit's coming to an end, Viv. Luckily for you, they've completely ate shit with this new universe. Has there ever been something Marvel? Dude. I guess there was Black Panther nominated when we were going through the
deserving
Best Picture list. Is that the only Marvel movie ever?
Never any superhero movies on the
Batman. Did
the
Batman
nominations
ever sneak on something?
So Dark Knight that was the year. What's interesting about that is that's another Christopher Nolan movie. We used to only have 5 movies nominated for Best Picture, and the year that Dark Knight came out, it wasn't nominated, and people were kind of pissed off about that because they're like, "That was one of the 5 best movies I saw last year."
Yeah,
so then they transitioned
the year consensus back then,
right? So then they went back to 10 nominees, and I want to say Endgame was nominated. It doesn't look like it was. So that's interesting, Bordy. Good point. Black Panther is the only one that's actually been nominated for Best Picture.
Kinda.
Sure, so like the DC movies, but that's a totally different kind of movie than a Marvel movie.
So DC's kind of killing it compared to fucking Marvel.
Well, not from a budget standpoint, but I guess from an award standpoint, you could say that. The other thing I want to talk about with Oppenheimer is Nolan. I struggle with it because like I love a lot of his movies so much, but then I always feel like it's almost try-hardy at points. Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, okay, like he's kind of wrapped himself in a knot and he can't really untie it. And I think that this movie, Oppenheimer, it doesn't have any of those knots for me. I had no problems following it, Bordy. Maybe I wasn't as high as you when I saw it, but
I was also watching it, a video of somebody in the theater recording it.
Okay, so that's where you're going to run into a problem. You didn't see it the way Christopher Nolan intended. You got to go to the theater to see this movie. It's just like Dune.
Get it,
you watched a bootleg?
Yeah, I watched a bootleg on a bootleg Fire Stick, and
that's tough.
I had zero idea what was going on.
You gave it no chance. That was a setup for failure.
Yeah, and I get it, but also, I mean, nothing really stood out for me with it. I mean, it obviously Best Picture of the Year. Congrats!
If you watched it in an IMAX theater,
I had way more fun watching Barbie, and I watched Barbie the same way.
Really?
That's
fair. There's a lot more sound. There's a lot more.
Yes.
Like, dude, that in the IMAX Oppenheimer was. Dude. It's exact. You can't watch a better movie. Cannot be displayed better.
You know what it is? It's like you see like the video of Kanye and Jay-Z performing Blink in Paris, and you watch it on YouTube. It's like the difference between going and watching that on YouTube and actually going to Paris and seeing them perform it. It's totally different. Like they're rattling your fucking ass. Like just, I was talking about this with a colleague earlier this week. Actually, the brilliance and the sound design in Oppenheimer isn't just the sound that they use. Like the score is amazing. I will listen to the score when I wake up. I think it's so inspiring. But it's also the non-use of sound. Like that moment when the bomb goes off and you can hear a pin drop in the theater.
Absolutely quiet. Yeah.
And it's complete silence for like 7 or 8 seconds because that's what actually happens when a bomb drops. Like it's the thunder and lightning thing, and then you just feel this
crazy visuals too.
Oh, like crashing and everything.
Yeah, when Killian's having nightmares and he's having all these, the quantum, lines and the atoms, and I don't even know how you make that, but it was just like, that on an IMAX theater is gonna blow your mind compared to.
They didn't show anybody's flesh. They didn't show anybody's flesh burning off.
No, and that's actually been a point of conversation
recently. The podium scene when he walks from the podium and he's stepping in
that's imagination. They're not actually showing him dropping on Hiroshima or anything.
Oh no, you wanted to see
I wanted to see like the scale of that from like space.
Real nice.
You know,
Mm.
I wanted to grasp it kind of, and I still didn't grasp it. He's like, oh yeah, he's toying with all these numbers, creating this fucking murderous
Well, I'm not
weapon,
sure it's
and
the
then-
actual concept of the actual grasp. Like when you see the bomb, it's more about what the bomb means to the world. It's like, okay, it's that classic line that he has. It's like they won't understand the power of it until they can use it. So they have to be able to use it to understand the power of it, and then they use it and they have an understanding of it, and they're like, we
They're
can
like,
never do
"Fuck."
this again, like literally ever.
Jesus, it's like the first time you do anal.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, he's got to learn for
Same
himself
exact
that anal
thing.
isn't the best.
This is, people hype this up way too much. I'm never.
But I think RDJ actually illustrates that at one point in the movie. He shows you the difference between an atom bomb and a hydrogen bomb with what's that old thing like where you have a pencil and you trace a circle? I can't remember what those are called. But it shows like, yes, protractor. Thank you.
That's what we
he
keep
like
you
shows
around
the
for,
difference between the
Cerroni.
two. And he's like, dude, the hydrogen bomb is like 100 of these atom bombs. But I wanted to ask you guys this. Bordy, I assume he's not one of yours, or maybe he is. I'm not sure. I don't want to make a presumption. But this moment, does this increase Nolan in your mind at all? Like, does this like make him leap to like, this is my favorite director now? Because for me personally, like, I think he's firmly in my top 5 or 6 favorite directors now, especially with this movie, but also this win and knowing what it means to everybody else.
I'd give him a strong 8. Like, I don't think he's one of the GOATs yet, but he's
number 8 for you.
Yeah, he's an all-star, like for sure. He's a probably even a
He's coming off the
all,
bench?
first team All NBA. No, he's
So you
first
have,
team
like,
All NBA.
Michael Bay and his Transformers movies, number 1. Then Tarantino.
No,
then
Sandler's number
Scorsese.
1. He's the GOAT, obviously.
The GOAT director, Sandler. Okay.
Hey, Sandler,
Yeah,
I'll accept that.
I think
I'll let that
I
fly.
think he directs his movies. I don't really know, but honestly, I would have to pull up the best directors list. I couldn't name.
I
3
mean,
off the top
for
of
me,
my
it's,
head.
you know, it's PTA is number 1 for me. He's always going to be number 1. Scorsese and Tarantino are 2 and 3. Fincher's 4. Villeneuve and Nolan are climbing that list. I love older directors like Sidney Lumet. He's one of my guys. I mean, I could come up with the Coen brothers, Francis Ford Coppola. But I think that
so no one's not above any of those guys for you?
I think he's above Lumet. I haven't seen all of Lumet's movies the way I've seen all of Nolan's movies, but he's not above Fincher. Because there is, I like Bordy's point actually about Oppenheimer. You know, the spectacle of it, and this is, you could say the same thing about Dune. You know, they're very good at these spectacle, these big moments, these holy fuck, I will never forget seeing that in a theater. But there is a lack of humanity in a lot of their characters that I just don't connect with. Sometimes it feels like they're devices to move a plot forward. And that's why I loved Oppenheimer so much, because I actually understood the humanity of Killian's character, Robert, like J. Oppenheimer. Like, I understood him. But I'm not sure if I understood anybody else's, like, you know, like, what do they have for breakfast? What's their workout regimen like? Do they smoke cigarettes? Do they give a fuck about their family? I think Florence Pugh, I had a feeling with her, and then Killian. But I can't really say the same thing for a lot of his characters. Maybe McConaughey and Interstellar, but, like, I don't really, like, know what Leo's about in Inception. I just know that he's, like, dream diving, and that's really about it. But, like, with PTA, like, I know every single one of the characters that comes on screen. I know who that human is. Like, if it's Mark Wahlberg and
you
Boogie
put that
Nights,
on the director? I guess
I know that on the
first line of
filmmaker more than
dialogue.
anything else, because they're you know, they're the coach. They're the one that can bring this out to people and tell them to concentrate on these things. And he's also script writing on a lot of his own stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
I think it shows that in the type of movies that Nolan makes. I just think he's not really like a dialogue guy.
Yeah, sure. Villeneuve said the same thing. Like, I'm here to, you're going to see and you're going to hear and you're going to feel, but it's not the same feeling that you get from watching Phantom Thread, where every time I watch Phantom Thread, I cry. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen it.
And that's just not my favorite type of movie. Like, when I watched Dunkirk in the theater, I left like, that was fucking terrible. I just got like
interesting
shot at for 2.5 hours.
I love Dunkirk.
Like, I was in a trench. But
crazy.
So confirmed, not a Nolan guy. That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Nolan. I mean, I feel like for me, I mean, Tarantino's kind of.
It feels like it's for Tesla guys, like guys that drive Teslas.
Nolan is, or Tarantino is?
Nolan.
Yeah, I feel that.
Tarantino's for guys that drive like Jeeps.
No, Tarantino's for guys that like write poetry.
Or no, not Tarantino.
Yeah, I was gonna say drives like a beat up something. But yeah, he's not like the best. I think Tarantino is like all time, but I mean, dude, like Nolan, you can't like, yeah, Fincher, Scorsese a lot too. They're all like, it's so hard too, because like then you have, it's almost like that big three, like Scorsese, Nolan, Tarantino, and they're all kind of like, yeah, it's kind of give or take. And yeah, it's also, I get where you're seeing from Nolan too, like he obviously directed a masterpiece, but you also have like, I mean, quite simply the best cast of all
Yes.
time,
And
which
that's a credit to him.
helps
They want to work with him.
exactly. I still feel like, yeah, you're right, and that is just full circle. Yeah, I still feel like Tarantino just still has the golden,
Yeah,
I
give me
think if you're an
Tarantino and
actor,
Scorsese. That's the top two for me, just solidified.
yeah, yeah, no, I can agree with that. But Nolan, I mean, this motherfucker hasn't missed much really lately. And you gotta get, he's definitely right there. I think if you ask any actor, if you could be in one movie with any director, it'd be Tarantino. Like that's like probably 90% of the answers. But then,
Right.
I mean, Chris, he's not that far behind, man. He's been right there. I feel like give him. I'm curious to see what he does next. That would be
Yeah.
crazy. Also Tarantino, like famously said that he, the movie critic is his last film. He might do a TV show or something. They were saying. I also don't
Did you guys
buy
see the
that.
rumor
I
about
feel like
it?
that's
Did you guys see the rumor about the movie critic and who the titular lead might be?
You're talking about with Leo? Isn't it Leo?
No, for Tarantino,
Better.
the titular lead, and this is, I don't know if it's real. It's been floating around Twitter
I
recently.
saw it too.
Hato sent it to me right when he saw it. It's Shane Gillis. He might be the titular lead
Dude,
in the
no
movie critic.
way.
Bring comedy back. If Tarantino brings
That would be
comedy
the
back,
smartest thing, Tarantino, because Shane Gillis is on fire right now
dude.
for everybody. But I just don't know if that would throw off, if that might take you out of it though. If you're in this great movie and then you see Shane Gillis, because everybody's going to think just like grilled cheese sandwiches, and I don't know with that.
Yeah.
I think that might take you out of it. Or
could
to
be
be
the
I was trying to
legit
think of like a
genius.
comparison for it. I didn't know what
Philip
the comparison
Seymour Hoffman.
was because like
Your boy
it's not-
Philip.
but he was a dramatic actor first, and then he went into
Oh.
comedies. But I was thinking Sandler in Punch Drunk Love with PTA. I think that's 2002. But he had been in movies before, right? He had already been in, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison and all the like Little Nicky, whatever. But he had been in movies. He had been on SNL. People were familiar enough with him. We only know Gillis as stand-up comedian right now and skit guy on YouTube. That's it. Like that's our only
You better take
association
some
with him.
acting classes quick.
Oh, no shit. And is there a better acting classes than learning to return? But I think one thing about Nolan that we should say is, he couldn't make Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but could Tarantino make Dunkirk or Oppenheimer? I'm not sure.
Fuck
right?
yes,
So
in his sleep. He could wake up and write a movie like that.
no, write a movie like that, but actually like the actual filmmaking of these things, like a 3-hour story that is like, because that's one thing about Nolan is he is very anal with his scripts. Like Oppenheimer is so intentional that the bomb literally goes off at the exact like 2-hour mark in the movie, and then everything after that it's like very clearly identified and split up into 3 parts, 3 acts, and so he's very good at that stuff. Like the actual mapping of things. Like I don't know if Tarantino could or even would want to do a Tenet. I don't think he would. Like that's just not his bag. But I don't think that Nolan could do, Pulp Fiction. Like that's just not him. Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not as focused on that granular human level. He wants it to be. He wants a plane. He wants to land a plane.
There's not a hint of comedy in any of his movies.
There's a little bit in
Nolan?
Tenet. There's a little bit in Oppenheimer too.
I didn't see Tenet.
Never
But it's
liked
not. It's
Tenet.
not like laugh out loud funny. But like there are definitely like some comedic moments. Like Damon I think is pretty funny in Oppenheimer.
Tarantino's comedy is just like
he's
the
the one.
chef's kiss though. It's his writing and
He's
his
hilarious.
dude, it's fucking perfect. And they're both, I think with Nolan too and Tarantino, like they're so intentional, like you were saying, like with their dialogue, with the words. Like there wasn't a single word said in Oppenheimer that wasn't written on that page.
Right.
Like dude, it's so.
Maybe you should have let him go off the page a little bit.
Yeah,
He's just out here hating, dog.
yeah, but with a
Like
movie
they didn't
like
win
that,
Best
there's
Picture.
no.
Like,
Yeah,
they just won the
there's no
fucking
room
Oscar.
for improv, and like there's no wasted space. Whereas like Tarantino, yeah, they might be maybe a couple, a little bit here and there, but like, yeah, like there's just no wasted space. Like it's just fucking every
Tell
line
you
of
what,
it's just flawless.
Tarantino's Oppenheimer would have been a lot more fun.
Okay,
It
Bordy.
would
All
have. I
right.
don't know if it would have been better, but yeah, it
And
might
there
have been a
there is
couple
one
giggles.
director that I neglected to mention. I don't know why, but he is
Yeah,
Nolan's favorite director, and it's Stanley Kubrick, who I think is probably he might not be my favorite director of all time. He's definitely one of them, but I think
he's a
he's
trip
actually
though.
the greatest because
The
he
best.
could do both of those things. He
He
could
did
do
do the moon landing.
right. He could do the Oppenheimer of his time, which was 2001: A Space Odyssey, and he could also do Barry Lyndon and Eyes Wide Shut and A Clockwork Orange and all of these like very granular movies. So a genius. We should move on to some other parts of the Oscars. So we said Oppenheimer, big winner. The other big winner tonight was Poor Things. Have either of you guys had the chance to watch this movie?
Never heard of it.
Yes.
Okay, Cerrone, just blanket thoughts on Poor Things.
It's awesome. It's such
Nice.
a wild, like, yeah, dude. I would have loved, honestly, for Mark Ruffalo to win supporting role. That just sucks
He's
because he
so
was
weird
so,
in it.
yeah. And the thing is, like, for him, that's like it's such a crazy role. There's like, yeah, he's super weird. There's like singing and dancing and like, that's just so not him. And it's also so. I mean, both of them played a character that like they had to take a huge leap of faith in that both probably
Yes.
like scared the shit out of them. Like they probably, but that's what like actors want. Like you want something that like makes you like shake in your boots a little bit. Like you want the challenge. You want like something different. Like no one really wants to play a character that's like them in real life just because it's not as fun and it's just not as challenging. So for them to both take that leap and go for those, it turned out it's a crazy, like it won the crazy effects, visuals. It won all the costume and the makeup, both of those, right? The
4
costumes.
awards. So production design, best costume, hair and makeup, mainly for Willem Dafoe and the makeup that he had on his face, which was hilarious and so
Yeah,
weird. But
but
then
all of
best
them, dude.
actress was like that was the upset like of tonight. Like that was the twist of the like there's always one twist at the Oscars and you don't know when it's going to be. Lily Gladstone was like a minus 500 favorite going into tonight. She had won pretty much every single award leading up to this, the SAG Awards, the Golden Globe, et cetera, et cetera. And you could actually see the shock on Emma Stone's face when she won. She was
Yeah,
like, whoa, what the fuck? She was like, no way. And then she
that's
goes up there. You can see the shock in the speech. And when she's naming the other nominees and thanking them and telling them how she admires them, she looks over at Lily. She's like, this is for both of us. And then the camera pans to Lily. And she's like,
yeah, for both of us. This is for both of us. No,
yeah. She deserved it though,
won.
dude. Like imagine.
Don't hate on Emma Stone, Bordy. This is not the podcast to hate on my girl.
The clips I
Yeah.
saw from that movie with her looked outstanding.
She's
Yeah,
fucking
dude.
amazing.
For her
No.
to play that, like, it's just that insane, just such a crazy character. Yeah, she
So
deserved
hot.
it. But yeah, I would have loved for Mark Ruffalo. I fucking love Mark Ruffalo.
He's brilliant.
I would have
Let me
loved
just-
for
needs
him
to
to
go
get
back
it
to playing
over
the whole-
Downey Jr.
Bordy, do you know what the movie's even about?
No.
Okay. All right. So let me just pitch it to you because I think this is your kind of movie. It's
sounds
about
pretty
a
good so
woman
far.
who Emma Stone
Mark
is.
Ruffalo
and-
does have kind of a punchable face. Like you guys were hyping him up a little too much. He's
No, but when you
No,
watch him in
he's
this
a
movie,
man.
you're gonna want to punch him way more when you watch him in this movie. That's what's great
Very
about
well.
him. He like gives
it's
into
more
it.
respectable. He's not trying to be
Yeah,
like
no,
some
he's
fucking-
he's definitely self-aware. So Emma Stone plays a woman who has a woman's body, has Emma Stone's body, but she was previously in another life, a different woman, and she's pregnant and she kills herself. And the scientist, played by Willem Dafoe, finds her body in the river and he tries to bring her back to life. And he realizes the only way that he can actually do that is if he takes the baby's heart and brain and puts it in the mother's body. So he essentially does Sexy Frankenstein with Emma Stone, brings her back to life. And she's like slowly
Hot.
learning like the ways of the
Yeah,
world.
think
But,
about
she's like
Trying to
32-year-old
play
woman.
that character.
Right. But
Like,
she
where do you
immediately
even
becomes Bordy,
start, dude?
just the horniest person in the entire world. Like that is like her,
she has
her
a
niche.
baby brain.
Yes, she just becomes a nymphomaniac like immediately. Like she figures out how to come and she's like, that's it. That's all I want to do. And it's just this very interesting look on the
Same.
world where like literally all she wants to do the entire movie, she calls it furious
Flick that
jumping is what she
bean.
calls sex. So she's just like a nymphomaniac, becomes a prostitute, travels the world, runs away from home. It's just brilliant. It's one of those creative things that I've seen. And the fact that the Academy actually awarded her for this is really inspiring because like Cerrone said, that's a risk. When you get to Emma
It
Stone's
probably
level,
wasn't a
you don't
big
have to
budget
take
movie
these
either.
risks. No, I think it was like $50 million, something like that.
I
Maybe.
take the leap.
But like, you don't have to do these things when you get to her level. She's already won an Oscar. Like, she's good. Like, this is her second one. Now she's on track to like be the Meryl Streep of this generation, the Frances McDormand of this generation.
I'm
And
down with that.
Yeah.
I don't think she's like that attractive. Like Bordy, you said she's hot. I think she's just a fucking brilliant performer.
She's the one in
bad at
Easy A,
anything.
right?
Yes. La La Land.
Yeah, that.
Super bad. The Curse with Nathan
it could've-
Fielder, which is also really weird.
I like
Poor
redheads.
things could have very, very
I do
easily,
too.
like McConaughey says, like it's not a risk if you don't got nothing to lose. If she sucks in that movie, Poor Things
It's
could have
terrible.
been a disaster.
Yeah.
Of a,
Just
just
like
like
the worst movie I saw last year.
if that concept goes bad, man, it's just a laughing stock. It's like, what? There's a baby, and then she got born. Yeah, it could have sucked bad. But her and Mark, that's why again he should have won. Just dude, it won full. It's just crazy.
Well, like, I was trying to think of when I saw it, like, is there another actress that could do this? And the only person that came to mind was Margot Robbie because of Babylon. Like, I thought of those two performances kind of
what's her
hand in
name?
hand with
Maybe
one
Emily
another.
Blunt.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega.
No, absolutely not. Ortega
She'd
couldn't
be
do this.
lost.
I think Blunt is really gifted. I think she's gorgeous. I don't think she could do this. This is just like this is an unteachable skill that she performs in this movie. Like, it's the most challenging role that I've seen her take, and it's like,
Yeah.
she deserves. And that's no shot to Lily Gladstone. I think but I do think that there are other people that could have played that role to the same effect as her. Now they had to be Native American. They'd have to
She
be
took a
fine.
fucking L.
She did take the L, but like I
Is
think
that
she's
the
more
Killers
deserving
of
of
the
like
Flower Moon Girl?
yes,
Damn.
yeah, Molly Burkhart, yeah.
She's
So, I
never
don't know.
getting another. She's not going to get in another movie ever again.
She'll get movies, but she probably won't get nominated again. And I think that's the difference between her and Stone. Stone is just like this naturally just perfect performer, and I think Gladstone's good. I don't think she's the best person in that movie. After rewatching
I
it,
thought
I'm
she
like,
seemed kind of bitchy.
this is Leo's movie. Like, this movie doesn't work without Leo or De Niro.
Thanks.
Agreed.
Okay, some other people that we should congratulate. And just some like brief things on the Oscars if you watch the telecast. Some good bits that I really liked. John Mulaney, he should be the next host of the Oscars. I thought Jimmy Kimmel did a really good job, but Mulaney comes out. I can't remember what category he presented, but he just did like a little mini stand-up bit, and it was perfect. Like, he talked about Field of Dreams.
They got to keep him locked in a room these days.
He's really
He
good.
just got out of rehab. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, they just got to keep him. I think he's in a 4-wall room, all white walls, no furniture.
Let him
He's
go,
a baby
man.
with
Give
Olivia Munn.
Give
dude.
him the drugs again.
No, he's good. He's living life. He's a child with Olivia Munn. Who's
Yeah.
like one of my when we do movie chicks drafts, she will definitely be on that.
So that came after he got out of rehab. We don't need to go that deep into this. But
Yeah,
I thought
because
he
so
had the kid
baby
with her,
came, like,
went to
during,
rehab
I
and they
think.
broke up. Okay.
So he
Well,
divorced his wife like 3 or 4. We don't have to do a whole John Mulaney.
Oh my God!
right
Did you just get that update? Did you guys just get that update?
Russell Wilson to the Steelers?
Yeah. Oh
That's
God, that's
wow.
hilarious.
Breaking
That's
news.
hilarious, bro.
we got to pivot.
Connor's so
Let's just do
mad.
30 minutes Russ and the Steelers.
We can do 5 minutes on
Connor
Russ
is
and the Steelers.
livid. Connor
Any
Antonone is livid
fears-
right now.
Any fear in your heart right now, Cerrone? As a Ravens fan, does this bring nope, none? You gonna bring future to every game now?
I in the AFC North, I fear Burrow, Joey B.
Yep.
That's it. Russ, what is Russ gonna do? Just drag that team down. He's gonna steal all their money, just like you robbed the Broncos blind for who God knows how many $1 million in a
Russ is
1-year
basically
deal.
free. Broncos
man.
are paying that whole deal.
Yeah, man. No, that's not Russ. He was 5-6 years ago, yes, but now he's got a family. He's kids. He's a God's man. He's not. Yeah, wait till you meet
I bet
fucking
they catch you guys
the
once,
Ravens. The Ravens
Mhm.
I bet they
defense.
catch you guys once. I bet they get you
No,
guys
they
once.
will. Oh, they'll probably catch us twice, but still miss the playoffs. That's fine. I'm
Yeah,
fine with that.
fair.
I'd gladly lose to the Steelers twice and go to the Super Bowl. Fine.
Yeah.
Then beat them twice and fucking the Steelers always have our number. It is what it is. But that's hilarious. Russell
Now they
Wilson
got
isn't the answer.
Mr. Unlimited.
Bordy, is he a step up from Pickett?
Steelers Nation, let's
he's-
ride.
He might be a step shorter, but he is a step up for sure. They just brought in Arthur Smith,
Is he though?
who runs a nasty play action game. Like if you would have put Russ in Atlanta last year, they win the NFC South easy.
What are you smoking?
I kind of like the devil's
they were a
advocate
game
here.
away they were a game away from
Russ
losing.
misses throws. Can't scramble anymore.
It's hard to miss George Pickens.
You got to play off the play action. He had a good year last year. He had his best year in the past few.
He had Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, a great defense.
He's got
get a good little 5-game run.
He's got clones of those guys. He's got Pickens and Deontay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he. I mean,
if you're the Steelers,
you don't want to grab.
You don't got to trade for him. You don't got to pay salary. Denver's paying everything.
I think I double down on Pickett though. Build for a future. You
got to mentor with Pickett. Like Pickett lacks.
Russ is on his way.
All of that aura. Pickett lacks all of the movie star aura. He's like the backup QB in one of those movies. That like.
Yeah, I think Russ is just on his way down though. That's catching him on his down slope. That's as a Ravens.
What else are you gonna do if you're Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh's kind of in a shit spot.
Now they don't have to trade for Fields. They don't have to give up like big time assets for Fields, which is interesting. They're essentially getting him for free. And I think that if there's anybody that can get something out of a light skinned quarterback that's kind of dwindled past his prime, it's Mike Tomlin.
But you got to build the Steelers. You got to build for the future. Russ is going to give you what? He's on his way. He's done in a couple. Like that's I don't know.
You know how the Steelers operate. They're never a build for the future organization. They're always like, let's just go win right now. Like that's just how they're always going to operate.
And
they're
they
haven't been winning right now.
They're not ready to give up on Pickett. You get a mentor in there. Pickett might still be the starter. Yeah.
Maybe that. Okay, that's a maybe
Russ is a damn good backup, and it'll help out.
I bet if the Steelers
Pickett has bad injury issues,
it would have been way. That would have been way.
I'd have give up more scared. Third, pay him $15 million.
Yeah, the Steelers fans would have been way more excited.
You get a lot of hope. They would have been way more excited.
That shows you they still believe in Pickett. If they didn't believe in Pickett, I think they go for not a bridge quarterback. This is kind of a bridge thing.
It's true. That's true.
And who knows? Maybe like he has the Jared Goff experience where like he gets a new offensive coordinator. It's a fresh start. Like, I mean, he definitely like. I don't like him as a person. I don't hate him as a quarterback. I do not like him as a person. I think he's annoying and weird and like very cliche and just odd. But I don't hate the idea of like giving him another chance. And
a point I got a guy I listened to. He drew comparisons to Kurt Warner. How Kurt Warner might not have been a Hall of Famer just with his stint in
the Rams,
St. Louis,
the Rams
or wherever they were. Yeah, comparing Russ to Kurt. So Kurt doesn't.
Russ got 2 rings. Was Russ have 2 or 1?
One.
I think he has 1. Warner had 1. He moves on, kind of sucks. Not a Hall of Famer. Yep. He goes to Arizona.
Yep.
And he gets that ring in one of the best Super Bowls ever. Yep. Turns him into a Hall of Famer.
No, didn't the Steelers beat them in that? I don't think Kurt Warner has a ring.
No, he won one with the Rams, didn't he not? Like early in his career.
Okay, but then they lost against Pittsburgh.
Yes, they lost. The Fitzgerald Palomalu.
But I think getting there and playing in that game got him in.
Yeah, I actually like that. The Warner Wilson comparison there.
Larry Fitz doesn't have a Super Bowl then?
No.
God, that's sad.
I know that is sad. He's just going to transition to tight end for like last 3 years of his career.
A lot of good players that don't get rings. It's fucked.
Best blocking receiver ever. All right, well, that was a good little like NFL bit right there.
Yeah, that was solid. I'm excited.
Back to the Oscars really quick, and then
we definitely gave it its time. Yeah.
We'll go to draft after we finish up here on the Oscars. We got to talk about I'm Just Ken, Gosling's performance. Just deep dive it really quick. Him sitting there in the crowd in the custom pink Gucci outfit. He's right behind Margot Robbie and Greta. Just a perfect way to open. He walks up on the stage from his seat where he was sitting all night in his pink outfit. Mark Ronson, the guy who made a lot of the music for Barbie, is playing the guitar. He like gives him like a little punch to the chin, just like a cute little "What's up, bro?" punch. Then goes up to the stage. Dude, this guy, it is not fair how talented he is. Like the fact that his voice sounded immaculate. I was like, this is unbelievable. Some guy like married to Eva
always
Mendes
catches me so off guard.
Some
can
guys
do like
got it all, man.
can do the very indie movies. Like he did Drive, and he's like done all these. Like he did La La Land, but he can also just be Ken, like literal Ken from Barbie, and it's like you're automatically rooting against the guy because you're like, oh, he's playing stereotypical bro. Like there's no way he's gonna be. What does he do? He brings fucking Marlon Brando to the role. Like he's just perfect in it, and then he comes and he performs.
Is that the product of like kids getting into acting and like music classes early on, or is that just somebody just born with both of it? Like born.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's nature and nurture.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always.
You're seeing a lot more of those. You know, Bradley Cooper. Like all of a sudden, you find out he's a fucking amazing singer, and there's just a lot of those these days.
Yeah, he's also just a star. Like like Ralph said it. There's some guy who's just like. Got it. Like you can't learn how to be a star. Like he's just like
if Timmy Chalamet comes out and starts singing and dancing one day, I'd totally believe it.
Wonka,
is he? Does he actually?
Wonka's very.
I will never see that movie.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen Wonka either. Yeah, any music. It's just musicals are tough to get through.
I'd rather
as a straight male,
a big vat of chocolate that they have in the chocolate factory, like the Oompa Loompas fall into. Yeah, I'd rather jump 100%.
In there. That's a great way to go. It's a great way to go. Just drowning in chocolate.
The other best bit of the night was the John Cena bit. You know,
can someone explain that, dude? Because I didn't. I saw a picture of that. He looked actually naked.
So 45 or 50 years ago, there was a streaker at the Oscars, and it's like, you know, very famous. Like they have a bit in the museum about it. And so Kimmel's joking about it. He's like, you know, it's the anniversary of the streaker. So wouldn't it be weird if somebody started streaking while I was talking right now? And then he's like, wouldn't it be weird if somebody started streaking right now? And he the camera pans right behind him, and you just see John Cena just absolutely jacked to the max, looking fucking amazing,
shredded.
And then he just like
not a hair on his body.
He's like, I don't want to do the streaker bit. Like now that I'm like looking at it, it's like very distasteful that you thought of this. Like, why did you have to drag me into this? And then he comes out and he does it, man. And he's like got like one thing guarding his crotch, like some kind of tape.
Envelope.
And that's it. Like, and the envelope for the winner for costume design. And he comes out and he's presenting. He's like, costumes might be the most important thing. Like if we didn't have them, everybody would be like this.
So it was funny. It was good. Like it wasn't
hilarious.
Huge, awesome.
Huge like ovation. Like everybody loved it. And there were some things tonight that didn't work.
Margaret was like scoffing. It was so great.
She was like, damn, I want that piece of meat right there. Like that's what he looked like. He looked just like the dude in the gym in your locker room that's just like walking around with his hands over his crotch.
He looked very naked. Like it looked like there was
was naked.
Did you see his butt cheeks?
If you were behind him.
Like, did he turn around?
He didn't turn around. Not on the telecast.
Give us the ass shot that we all desperately wanted.
But then they cut to costume design, and then they come back to costume design after they show like all the costumes and whatnot. And now he has like a big dress on. So yeah, it was just perfect. But
that's the perfect mix for the Oscars too. To like mix in those type of guys. Like mix in a Cena who's not going to win something, but get them involved in the show, you know, because people like me that tune in and they're bored because they're like, I haven't seen any of these fucking.
Oh, and if there's one thing people love, it's John Cena.
Yeah, and then John Cena comes out and Bordy's like, yeah,
Cena, naked John Cena. Yeah, that's insane. Like that's awesome.
Down syndrome kids that just love Cena and titties.
That takes some balls to do that too.
You know, having a guy like that do that, Bordy, I think it's a great point because, like, you know, you're tuning in and you're seeing them cut to mostly the same people. It's a lot of the Oppenheimer crew. So, like, Robert Downey Jr. and his wife, Susan, Emily Blunt and John Krasinski together. They're all sitting in the same area. A lot of cuts to Bradley Cooper with his mom. A lot of cuts to Margot Robbie, Greta Gerwig, and Ryan Gosling and Billie Eilish sitting together. But some people that weren't there, Leo was not in attendance tonight. No shots of him. No Matt Damon. No Brad Pitt. And then coming off of Dune, no Timothée Chalamet or Austin Butler tonight. So like they did a good job. Like I didn't even realize that while I was watching it. I was definitely no Tom Cruise either. I was definitely looking for Leo. I'm like, why isn't he with the Killers of the Flower Moon team? But you know, he just didn't show up. Wasn't nominated. He's like, I'm not going to show up if I'm not nominated.
How about Killian's wife just not being that hot at all? Everybody else just kind of. I thought Killian he could get like a like he can get like a Margot Robbie type level hotness, and just that must have been like a high school sweetheart or something.
Well,
Like
Christopher
Dwayne
Nolan,
Wade's
same
first
thing.
wife.
Like, Emma Thomas, as talented as she is, like Christopher Nolan, like, I don't know, it is Hollywood. You don't know how polygamous some of these people are, but they all have families. They've been with these people for years and years.
Yeah, there's
And then
no
once
way
you get this
Killian's
success,
cheating.
like, I think it's a
Hit the
credit
nail
to their
on the head with
character.
that polygamous thing.
Yeah,
They're
I know
fucking
Bordy's
everybody.
You
theories on
think
Hollywood.
Killian? You think he's cheating? There's no way. He's too good of a man.
It's
Did
not
want to
cheating
credit
if
two more people as
everybody's
well.
there.
There's two new faces that won tonight. We talked about Cord Jefferson a little bit. I think his story is so interesting. He's formerly a blogger. Is like this is the first movie he's directed, the first script that he's written, adapted screenplay he won for. So that was really cool. He's the one that gave that great speech. And then Davine Joy Randolph won for The Holdovers, which we haven't really talked about, but just a fucking awesome movie. Like
Holdovers is good.
The new
She's
Christmas
the best
movie
part
for
of
me.
The Idol too. If anybody watched The Idol,
She was
I
good
know,
in The Idol. Yeah,
it's Rick's favorite show ever. But she was the most funny person in that show. Just like a
What show?
Bad bitch manager.
The Idol, the weekend show.
Oh, okay.
The Lily Rose
she was
Depp.
the
plays her
The
manager.
weekend sex fantasy. Yeah, she
Yeah,
plays like
that got really bad. People hated that show. Like
We're not talking about it
viciously, though.
anymore. We've already dedicated way too much airtime to
Cerrone,
that show.
they just
hate
weren't
that
horny
show.
enough. They weren't
I've never
horny
seen it.
enough.
It's-
for it.
I think Lily Rose Depp is just an absolute rocket of a female.
You should
But yeah,
friendly
everyone
her,
hated that
Cerrone.
shit.
You need to hook up with her.
Yeah,
guys would be a
that should be
power
your next
couple.
target.
I mean, you don't have to twist my arm. I'm
mean,
pretty
man,
open for that.
If we're not,
if I get the
trophy
chance.
hunting, what are we doing?
Just imagine Johnny Depp being your
That'd be so
father-in-law.
Yeah,
Oh my god, dude!
you'd have to
I
start
don't
wearing
even
way
know
more
what
bracelets.
I
You
would
guys ready
I'd be more interested in him than her. Like I'd be
This is
like, "What's your dad doing?" Does your
This is
dad
good,
want to like?
This is a
Oh,
good
God, of course.
segue. You guys want to hear my weekly dad joke?
Sure.
Oh boy, I'd love
God
to.
damn it! I forgot we were doing this. Fuck. Okay,
So last
go
week
ahead.
it
This
was
is
kind
a
of
new
like
segment?
a weekend update. Yeah, last
I
week
can
it was
bring some
kind of like a
heat to the
weekend
table.
update type thing. But now we're gonna do dad jokes because we're all
Alright,
dads here.
Let's hear it.
We got some sons, we got some daughters.
I've
So
never
we're gonna
not
drop
heard this
some game.
before.
And it's on par with what we were talking about. Cerrone, what's a pirate's favorite letter?
R.
You may think it's the R, but really it's the C.
Okay. I hate you. I did not give him permission to do these. Like
We just
he
lost
like
5 followers
He's
in
like
3 seconds.
He's like, I'm gonna do a weekend update, like mimicking thing, and like just go with it. I was like, all right.
I've never
all right.
heard that one before, so I'll give it to you. But wow,
Well, this week's was a lot less racist than last week, so
Yes, definitely a lot less.
That's
racist.
always
That's
good.
good. All right, this is a perfect opportunity to actually transition into our draft today. In light of the Oscars being tonight, we are drafting our favorite Best Picture winners of all time. We are going to draft 4 each. So each movie that we draft couldn't just be nominated for Best Picture. It had to win Best Picture. So just as a quick refresher, the last 5 movies to win Best Picture, obviously tonight was Oppenheimer. I'm going to see if I can do this actually off the top of my head and not look at the sheet. Last year was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Before that, it was Coda. And correct me if I'm wrong. Before that, it was Nomadland. So Oppenheimer, Everything Everywhere, Coda, Nomadland, and then it had to be Parasite, right? Did I get those right?
yes, sir.
All right. I think I could actually go back to maybe 2005 if I wanted to,
Let's
but
say
nobody
keep
wants
going.
to. Should I
we
keep
do.
going?
Yep.
Okay.
We want to see
All right,
how
so
fucking autistic
you
you
correct
are.
me
Viv.
when I'm wrong.
All right.
Okay.
You left
So,
off at
2018.
Parasite.
I said Parasite
2018,
2019. So 2018 was Green Book. 2017 was is that The Shape of Water?
Bingo.
Okay, 2016. That's Moonlight. 2016 is Moonlight.
You bet.
2015 is that Spotlight.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right? Jesus Christ.
What's that about?
That's about the Boston Globe discovering that priests were pedophiles and people not reporting
Oh,
on
that's with what's his name?
it. Mark
in that?
Ruffalo. Rachel
No,
McAdams.
is Gyllenhaal in that?
Yes,
Or-
I think. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time. 2014. Could you name me 2 of the movies that were nominated in 2014?
American
fair?
Sniper and Selma.
Okay. Fuck. Is that 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri?
Nope. Oh, that's the year. No. Nope.
That didn't win 2014.
Disregard what I
Fuck,
said.
what was 2014? Oh, it was
Any more
Birdman.
hints? I feel
Damn.
like I'm cheating.
Okay. All right, yeah, Birdman's all right. But anyways, so yeah, that was just, I guess, a trivia corner. I missed, so I had to stop. So we're each going to draft our favorite Best Picture winners. We're going to do 4 of them. It can be from any year. All right. I have the first pick. Bordy is the second pick. Cerroni is the third pick. Snake draft style, so he'll have 2 in a row. Then back to Bordy. I'm just going to go first and foremost with the movie that started it all off. I believe it was 1973 is the year that it actually won because it came out in 72. I'm going to go with The Godfather. Just very simple. My favorite movie ever.
Cut in the theme song.
Na 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 na. The best.
Yeah, like a song draft. Let's cut in the fucking soundtrack. That'd be sick.
And I'm not sure if it's a controversial take. I think it might be, but I like part 1 significantly more than part 2, personally. I know a lot of people
More classy.
Part 2.
I would say part 2 won it too, right?
It did.
A year later.
2 years
okay.
later. Yeah.
Okay.
And the Sting won in between that. Paul Newman.
Yeah. God, you know.
And then they just gave Godfather 3 a big fuck you.
Yeah, that was the year. That was the Goodfellas year, and that was the year that Dances with Wolves won in 1990, the Costner movie. But it got nominated, which is sacrilegious. I don't know why. All right, Bordy, you're up.
All right, my first round pick's got to be a banger. I'm going with Rocky. I think it's
Stole it right from under Cerroni.
Yep, I had to. Obviously,
Highway robbery.
We're 3 Italians on this podcast, and
Absolute
we're also
highway robbery.
three partially retarded Italians, so we can really relate to Rocky.
I wouldn't say partially. I would say a good 85%.
And that's what Rocky was.
If you round up, I'm pretty full retarded.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
From Philly, a true underdog story, and just a banger of a first movie.
1976, nominated alongside All the President's Men, terrific movie, and 2 of my favorite movies ever, Network, Sidney Lumet movie, that's top 15 for me, and then Taxi Driver as well.
Yeah.
So one of the first Scorsese winners.
Good for Rocky. That's a good Rocky win too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
I haven't seen it.
Just a
great out.
Yeah, Rocky changed my life, man. It really did. I used to watch Rocky every night before boot camp for like 2 months straight. I would just play a random Rocky movie, dude, and just get fucking jerked up in bed, dude. Just fucking thinking I was gonna die. All right, I'm gonna take. It's me, right? I got 2.
Yep. Back to back.
This is a huge turn for me. I will take. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, give me Oppenheimer. Give me Oppenheimer. Right. I mean, I don't see, that's a recency bias, but I think that
first round rookie
I think that stands the test. And I could have taken that 1 or 2. It doesn't matter. But give me Oppenheimer and give me, it's either 1 or 2.
Damn, E.T. got snubbed.
Give me Forrest Gump. Give me Forrest Gump in the 2-hole.
Oh,
give me Forrest Gump in the 2-hole.
That's the Sam Bowie that's the Greg Oden of this draft right now.
Only
did Forrest Gump win, it won over Pulp Fiction. And that is just
I love that. I love that.
And the Shawshank Redemption too.
Dude, I watched a whole behind the scenes documentary on how they made that movie. Unbelievable. This is
just rewatched
a shout out to the talent and work ethic and what they were able to accomplish with that technology back in those days. Give me Forrest Gump at the 2-hole. I'm fine with that.
Robert Zemeckis directed. He also directed Back to the Future, and so he's always been kind of obsessed like the technology that he can use like with the time era and kind of advancing it forward.
You got Forrest Gump shaking JFK's hand in like 19.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. I'm fine with that. That's because I watched that recently. Kind of got it turning, but yeah, I'm fine with that.
Good movie.
Off
I
to
like
you,
the movie.
Nicholas.
I think you're going to have your foot in your mouth with that last pick because I'm picking an absolute banger here.
Don't say
one of the best performances of all time. I think by one of my favorite actors, the man, Charlie Sheen, and it's Platoon. I think I saw this for the first time like 2 years ago, and it just hit me like right in the fucking chest. It felt like I stepped on a landmine. Like fell into one of those traps or something. I think somebody gets their leg caught in one of those crazy traps in that. And Charlie Sheen's development in that movie, like towards the end where he's just a sick fuck and is totally like lost faith in the
Yeah, but
world.
we're talking about Best Picture. You know?
I know it's still a great movie. I was just
True.
Well,
that's my
stacked
favorite
cast
part
too. You know,
about it was
Defoe's in it.
But
Forrest
does the
Whitaker.
picture wow you like Oppenheimer's picture did?
Well, I thought Best Picture means Best Movie.
It does.
Yeah, because I always thought that too, Cerrone. I always thought like, oh, Best Picture is like the best like
That's best
visual and
cinematography.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, cinematography.
Oh, so I'm completely wrong on this. Okay.
No, you got it.
Hand up
Forrest Gump
accountability.
If you thought it was what looked the coolest.
I still, you know what? After learning that, I'd still take Forrest Gump. 10 out of 10 times.
We're supposed to be a movie podcast. You guys don't even know what fucking Best Picture is. Jesus. Platoon.
I
figured it out last year.
Directed by Oliver Stone. Oliver
really?
Stone also did JFK. And he like
Was
made
this
his own
Oliver
conspiracy
Stone's
theory
first
for it.
movie?
He did Wall Street. No, he'd done the. What did he do before that? He's made The Doors, Born on the 4th of July.
Kevin Dillon's in this?
Yeah, great director, great filmmaker. And then the other thing about Platoon is that Tropic Thunder, the RDJ, Ben Stiller movie, McConaughey, Jack Black, it parodies
greatest
Platoon.
movie of all time. Like,
Just
possibly.
a phenomenal film. Yeah.
God, what a fucking movie. Tom Cruise. Remember Tom Cruise with the headset? Take one step back and f your own face. God, dude. I won't even, don't even start with Tropic Thunder because I'll be on it for like 30 minutes. But wow.
Just the best.
That's like, you have to watch that like once a month. And just,
It's so
and just
fucking
enjoy,
funny.
man.
Simple
Yeah.
Jack, the absolute goat.
Oh,
Can't get enough of Simple Jack. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to go. I'll go early 90s too. I'm going to go. Actually, no, I'll go 2007. I'll take No Country for Old Men.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's a great. Okay.
And, you know, it's interesting because this was the years competing with There'll Be Blood. I think we've probably talked about it on the pod, but just one of my favorite fun facts about movies is they shot in the same place at the same time. Two of my 50
Yeah, I
favorite movies
low-key
ever.
for a second thought that was going to be the same movie. I thought,
Martha, Texas, insane. And there was a moment in There'll Be Blood where Daniel Plainview blows up an oil rig, and No Country for Old Men had to stop shooting for 2 days because the smoke was still in the air and it was in the
That's
background,
awesome.
like the horizon and stuff. So
that's fucking awesome.
Coen Brothers, some of my favorite directors ever. Bardem, my favorite.
I almost
favorite
feel
villain.
like PTA directed No Country. If you told me
Yeah,
that, I
right.
would have believed it 100%.
It's more. And one crazy thing to keep in mind the next time you watch it: there's no music in it at all. The entire movie. Most of these movies are like so dependent on their score to like give you that emotional resonance. The movie is just naked when it comes to sound. It's all like naturalistic sounds, which is so fascinating. So yeah,
That is
Roland and
crazy.
Bardem obviously reunited for Doom Part 3, or Part 2, so that was great. So yeah, I'll take No Country there. And then I got another pick. And yeah, I'll go with what I was going to take prior to that. Right, I should. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I'll go with The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. Sneaky, just one of my favorite things to watch every single year. I probably watch it once a year at least around Halloween. You know, Hannibal Lecter,
Sounds of the
Clarice,
Lambs.
just a brilliant fucking film. Another one of those movies that just dominated at the Oscars. I think it won like 8 or 9 awards.
Yeah, Sounds of the Lambs. That's a creepy fucking. Yeah, it's just a wild ride.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me. I'd fuck me hard.
Oh, dude, when he's selling that's insane.
Love Buffalo.
How many of these movies that we've picked are about mentally disabled people?
Godfather, definitely Sonny Corleone, like 100%.
Forrest Gump
Santana's a
is definitely in
psycho.
that category.
Rocky, for sure.
I took Rocky,
Sounds of the
yeah.
Lambs. No Country. Yeah,
Back
100%.
inside.
Anton Chigurh is insane.
Yeah, it's good to
Oppenheimer,
build a movie
I
around
think
that.
you can make it.
And I'm about to go with the most famous mental person. Fucking Rain Man.
Oh, no.
I saw
hate this
Rain
That
Man.
movie rips. I love
can't
old
stand
Tom
it.
Cruise. Old Tom Cruise is so good.
Is that 88?
That is 1988. It won over Nothing I've Ever Heard of. But yeah, I just really like that movie. It's kind of a feel good movie, you know. Not many movies like it. So yeah, it brings in all my favorite things: betting, Tom Cruise,
Autism.
yeah, autism. Because I have an autistic daughter, you know, and I used to get mad when people would be like, "Oh, you should be like Rain Man," but like, you know, it would be kind of cool.
Then you watch with Rain Man.
Yeah,
You're like,
you'd
oh,
love
I'm going to
that.
profit off of this shit.
Yeah, this sounds
I
awesome.
think
Well, there's also The Hangover too, where they parody Rain Man in that, where Alan's at the casino table and he's got all the
Oh, with
numbers
all the
floating around
numbers,
his
yeah.
head. Right? He's like
That's a
fucking Rain Man.
timeless scene. Yeah.
Great gift. All right, so
Why'd
you
you
got two in a
groan
row.
at Rain Man? Is that not like a?
Is it me again? Or did
Yeah,
you?
I hate Rain Man, Bordy. I couldn't
What? You hate
stand this
Rain
movie.
Man?
I literally
What's
hated it.
wrong with Rain Man?
I was like, this
You
is the
probably
worst
watched
best
it when you
picture.
were too young, and you were like,
No, I
"This
watched it last year for the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, this movie
Really?
sucks. Yeah, he just annoyed me, and Cruz is just such a prick to him the entire time. I'm like, there's like, they have no chemistry. Like they hate each other, and then I guess they just love each other at the end. I don't know. I did not like that movie at all.
Well,
All right, so
sorry,
you got
they
two in
can't
a
all
row.
be winner. They
I
can't
got
all be
two?
home run
Okay.
picks.
All right, give me The Departed.
Nice.
I should have taken that.
All time
2006?
movie. I think one of my absolutely just favorite movies.
Scorsese's first win.
Yeah, I know. 2000. Check out 2009 too. How did The Hurt Locker beat Avatar and Inglourious Bastards? That's insane. Someone must have been blowing
Even
somebody
Precious.
for that.
A serious man up in the air.
Yeah,
Up.
So give me Departed at 3, and then in the 4 hole, I'll close it out with Mr. Pitt and Gladiator.
We got Gladiator, bad fucking cleanup, dude.
Yeah, that.
Wait. You said Mr. Pitt. That's Russell Crowe.
I mean, Russ. Or what am I? Oh, I'm thinking of Troy.
You're thinking of Troy.
That's a tough look.
You could just go with Gladiator still.
Yeah, you can still go Gladiator.
Yeah, let me double down on Gladiator. I completely thought that movie was Troy, but Gladiator is also a banger.
Yep. Are you not entertained? Ridley Scott sequel coming this year.
That's even better. That's even better then because Gladiator beats out Troy. Troy,
it's a way better
Brad
movie.
Pitt's looking good. Okay, yeah. Jesus
Joaquin
Christ, I'm running low on sleep. But yeah, give me Gladiator at 4. I'm fine with that.
Are you excited for the sequel?
Nightmares of a dog chasing him.
Is there a second
Can't sleep.
Gladiator?
The sequel is coming out this year. Paul Mescal playing the Gladiator, and Denzel Washington is playing like the King Emperor role.
Oh my God! Yeah, Gladiator is insane. I watched the behind the scenes that too with him and the director, Mr. Scott over here, and it was like, yeah, dude, they're just like a masterpiece. They knew right away.
So good.
But yeah, Troy, give shout out to Troy. But yeah, I did make the cut there for Mr. Pitt. Jesus Christ.
All right, Bordy B, you're back up. It's your last pick. You have Rocky, Platoon, and Rain Man.
That I do. I do have Rocky, Platoon, and Rain Man, and I haven't seen many other of these other movies. Like, I do like Titanic, but definitely not one of my favorite movies.
I love
I'm just going to do one more scroll and take something off the board here.
Oh,
I'm going
to
take Gandhi. I'm going to take Gandhi.
Wow.
You are not taking Gandhi right now.
Well, I haven't seen it.
Just take Godfather Part 2.
I haven't seen it. I know what Ralph's going to take.
Godfather 2 is right there. Give me it.
Is your last pick, Ralph, 2 words in the title?
Where was it? No, it's one word.
Okay, fuck. Never mind.
I'm curious what you're going to guess.
Schindler's List.
No, I do love Schindler's List, but I need to revisit that before I can draft it. My last pick is going to be Parasite, 2019.
Oh my God, we forgot to go Parasite. Yeah, that's a steal in round 4.
Well, you know, I've got one.
You just took Brock Purdy for Mr. Irrelevant.
I got 4 decades on the list here. We got a 70s movie, a 90s movie, 2000s, and 2010s. You know, and just
we should do a poll.
I'm gonna pick Dune 2 because I know they're gonna win next year.
No, you can't do that.
For certain.
Can't do that yet.
I picked Dune 2.
I don't know if it's gonna win for sure.
I honestly think I won that draft.
What?
We should do a poll on the page.
Hyping this up like it's fucking the greatest movie ever.
You do have a good list. So Cerroni has Oppenheimer, Forrest Gump, The Departed, and Gladiator. I have The Godfather, No Country for Old Men, Silence of the Lambs, and Parasite. And Bordy has Rocky, Platoon, Rain Man, Out of Nowhere, and The Godfather Part 2. So those are 4 pretty good lists.
Let's put a poll up. Let's see them voting.
All right, I'll put a poll up tomorrow. We'll get people voting on it.
I think my 4 are very votable 4. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I just think, like Best Picture, it's wishy-washy. Some years I'm like, yes, they nailed it. It's the best. But like I said earlier, like I've been less inspired the last couple of years with some of the wins, and it is what it is. Like I think the Academy, it's grown more diverse. I think they're figuring it out, but there's a year like this, like Oppenheimer just had to win. It was the front runner and it
Yeah,
deserved to
that's
be.
the only thing. Like sometimes the Oscars, like when it was Parasite and this year with Oppenheimer, it almost gets a little boring when you just know the guy
Yep.
goes up there and they read the nominations and it's like, man, this is going to fucking Killian. The bet this is going to Nolan. Then it just becomes kind of stale. And I only watched half of it and it just became like this, like, because you got to think everybody else is there, like with these amazing performances, man, and you just got to watch the whole Oppenheimer cast over and over and over. Just walk up, walk up, walk up. They thank each other. They thank each other. You're just like, man, like, fuck this. Like, I don't
That's
know.
enough wins.
Do you think they get kind of annoyed? Actors are very like pompous and very like.
Yeah, no, I think the
Like,
ego,
it should be
they
about
can definitely keep
moving
it
around.
inflated for 3.5
That's the right-
hours.
Yeah, and and Killian, it's funny too because he's the most like humble. Robert Downey. I watched a lot of interviews when they were doing the press, and Downey Jr. always talks about how Killian hates praise,
Yeah.
and you could tell it too. He's just a super humble, like thanks everybody but himself. Like even when he got the award, he seems very like down to earth and truly just loves it for the work and not for the fame. But yeah, you got to think like just over. I mean, it's just up and down, and they're carrying fucking all this shit. But it is what it is. I guess they deserve it. One hell of a fucking movie. But
Bordy, I've got 2 suggestions for you based on your draft, and these could be for you too, Cerrone. Based on you drafting Platoon and you liking somebody go crazy because of war, The Deer Hunter won Best Picture in 1978.
ooh, I've never seen that.
Christopher Walken goes absolutely insane, and there's a Russian roulette scene that scarred me for like 2 weeks after I watched it. It's De Niro, John Cazale, who famously, I think you'd really dig it. Don't watch a pirated version of it though if you can't help yourself. And then because you drafted Rain Man,
Yeah,
Dustin Hoffman, part of a couple of different Best Picture winners, obviously Rain Man, Kramer versus Kramer, but his first win for Best Picture was a movie called Midnight Cowboy. And now you're going to see 1969 next to it. Don't let that hold you back. All right. This is one of the weirdest fucking movies I've ever seen. John
I
Voight.
fucking love Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Great movie.
yeah,
Just a banger. But yeah, this is the year that Midnight Cowboy won, the year that Butch Cassidy was nominated. John Voight is Angelina Jolie's father, and he looks like a male Barbie in this movie. It's almost shocking, like how this like pre-plastic surgery
Midnight
area.
Cowboy sounds really gay.
I think you'll really dig it.
Okay.
There's one like club scene like where there might be some acid and some weed involved in like the late 60s. Dustin Hoffman plays a guy named Ratso Rizzo.
Damn.
It's just
Ratso
if you like Uncut Gems, good time vibes, this will kind of give you that. Where it's just like, oh, this is it's anxious.
How about
right,
a guy being named Jerome in 1969?
Yeah, you gotta love that, man. Jerome Hellman. That's sick.
you know what I can't wait for is the new Mad Max.
Oh yeah, Furiosa. Yeah, 2 months, dog.
I forgot about
Yeah,
those
should we
movies.
do a looking ahead
sick.
at movies coming out?
It's
We
not
could do that
much.
next week.
Not
Yeah.
a lot, I don't think. Unfortunately.
It's
I don't
not
know.
as stacked as last year. I will say that much. But there are definitely some movies on the slate that I am fired up about. Specifically
Roadhouse.
Furiosa.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Conor
Sure.
McGregor.
Two.
It's my kind of movie.
Roadhouse.
Yeah, Wonka too. That'll be great. All right, well, that's all we got for tonight.
True.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching the Oscars if you did. I'm excited to see what the viewership looks like for tonight. I think last year it was like 14 mil. They're trying to get to like 22, 23 this year.
Was
Supposed to
last
be
year
way
Will
up.
Smith? Was that last year?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, King Richard year. Terrible year. But
Yeah.
that's all we got. So thank you guys for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok if you're not already. And we will see you guys a little bit later this week. Talking college hoops. We got conference
March
tournaments this
Madness.
week. We'll have
Thank
Reese
God.
Turner on. Maybe
Shout out
Petey
the
will come out of
Hawks.
the show.
Caitlin
at some
Clark's
point.
never lost a Big Ten tournament.
Shout out to Caitlin Clark.
Clark can
Big
eat
dubs.
shit. They hate to see us win.
They hate
Dowling
to see us
High.
up. Yes, sir. Go Catholics.
Dowling
We love you.
High
We'll see you on the
alum.
other side. Peace out.
Peace.